All right. Peace and love. What up, though? What it do? What's popping? What's
What it
cracking? What's
do?
happening? Times nine, times
What's
10,
going on?
times nine, times
What ain't
10.
going on that ain't on? 9959. I'm sorry. Let's
19.
do that.
Peace to the gods. What's
Leo,
going on?
Leo, going on, brother?
Leo season.
Yep. August 10th. Yep, that's me.
Just had a born not too long
The
ago.
sun.
Hmm.
You know how we
Yeah, well, we see the topic. I
got
wanted
them
to
claws, baby.
address what you say. I wanted to
No, go ahead.
briefly
I'm here.
address, the confusion that we find ourselves mixed in with, erroneously, with the fact that there are some um, commercial presentments, contracts, um, different documents that bring about some type of remedy or recourse for any dealings that we find ourselves, caught up in by way of lack of
Right.
knowing contract law. I was just saying not too long
Mm-hmm.
ago, I can merely mention something like a tort claim, and I will get grouped in with these people who refer to themselves as sovereign citizens, which we have always um, addressed as being an oxymoron because you can't be sovereign and be a citizen subject booty to any of these corporate entities who have charters showing you, again, which year that they were incorporated or established in, which does not predate any of the estates that our ancestors already were the caretakers of prior to the invasion of the colonists, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things that we look
Mm-hmm.
at today to verify exactly what I just said, but like I said, it'll be brief, addressing the sovereign citizen movement being compared to the indigenous,
Was this one of
aboriginal,
them?
autochthonous movements. What you say?
This one of them? Let me get that thing.
I got a question.
No. Can you see that? You can't see it.
Okay, on the screen we go. So I can. Peace and love. What's going on, my brother?
Yeah.
All right.
You saw that?
I'm a little ahead of myself
That's-
on the screen. I need to go back.
I just had that affidavit
Okay.
of sovereignty.
Yes, many affidavit of facts, affidavit of sovereignty, affidavit
There's
of
the one right there.
nationality, and so on and so forth. That,
Remember those? Remember those?
again, when people hear, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I got them all. You named something, I think I got them all. But go ahead, sister. Yeah. But that's what it's saying. That's
Now,
basically
my
what it's
point,
saying. That's what it's saying in here. Exactly what you're talking about. If you know how to apply it. If I say the word use, then you can't say use because you never used it. Apply it. Once you apply it, there you go. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? In this Moorish thing and not paying taxes and stuff, it's working, but some of us can't recognize it's working because we're so clouded with the taxes and the insurance, things of that nature, and they keep piling on these esquires to keep making up these ideas how to get more money out of your pocket to fix the damage and give you a reward for it if you suffer such damages. You know what I'm saying? Damages. You follow me? But if you are sovereign to that, you ain't got to put up no fingerprints and paperwork and how long you've been here on the earth. This is ours and ours. That's all it is. It's ours. Now you're caught up into a what? A government that's supposed to be for the people, but it's not really for the people. So why would I want to be with something that I can't be a part of? So let me have my land that's what is all our land, and let us start our own. Now, see, if I say that, they're gonna say I'm anti-government. It's our land. How can it be anti-government? I'm just saying, why should I have to pay taxes to them? You know what I'm saying? I'm just going off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Because the taxes should go in-house to us. They don't need to put their lines in my property. I can handle my. I can,
Yeah,
I can
it's
do what
called paying tribute.
yeah.
It's called paying tribute. We heard Peace Be Upon him, Bobby L. speak about this multiple times, like casting a ballot as a public site and things of that nature. But again, until you open up a law dictionary and get the definition of these words, then you'll still be confused as to how is a person a corporation. You understand? These
With,
people have came here to do business. They crossed these shores in order to do business, and their business practices have not changed. They have merely expanded. They have
uh-huh.
modified of their policies, codes, and acts and things of that nature. But again, if I'm not doing business with them, then any of this, doesn't apply.
Right.
It should apply to their citizens, subject, POW, booties, wards, of state. You understand?
Right.
But again, on an international basis, they have presented our people as being their POWs, their booty, their wards of state. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So, it has been indoctrinated into the communities by way of their educational systems, their public school systems, and whatnot. Even the private schools teach some things to the children that are detrimental to us as a people because it's a programming. Understand now, after so many generations of this happening, again, when we begin to talk about um, even prior to 1837 is the year that the state of Michigan was established and incorporated. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So if prior to 1837 you had melanated indigenous men and women who were being called all type of names like negroes and mulattoes and things of that nature, already establishing towns here um, that were successful towns with farms and things of that nature where they were able to financially, you know what I mean, not just take care of themselves, but build wealth that they could pass down to their heirs, right?
Right.
So their heirs and their descendants. So with that being said, again, we were just talking about Idlewild. Idlewild is just one of the melanated towns within the Northwest Territory. They also mentioned that prior to, because they asked, well, prior to the state of Michigan being referred to as that, what was it called? And those of us who are Washita already, I'm not going to limit it just to people who have the knowledge by way of Peace Be Upon her, Empress Verdiasi, through the Washita, we were always taught that this was Northwest Territory. You see what I'm saying? So to somebody else, that term is foreign, but that shouldn't make no sense because 1837, you know what I'm saying, is not even 2 centuries ago, right?
Right.
So when you don't have any knowledge concerning a particular territory out before the colonists and invasion, you know what I'm saying, before the sieges in the wars that were inflicted upon our ancestors, you know what I'm saying, you really all the knowledge that you have is by way of indoctrination of what they put on the record as being historical facts. You see what I'm saying? So again, this information not just by way of census records and marriage certificates and things like that. There are other ways. When a lot of us lean on oral tradition, the oral tradition that maybe our parents or our grandparents bestowed upon us concerning, you know what I'm saying, our lineage and things like that. But again, people want to have documented facts, whether
Right.
it's some type of land patent or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying, which turned out for us to be a good and a bad thing. I say a bad thing because these particular documents were filed within particular businesses that we call counties and cities, right?
Right.
So when these documents are filed there, it begins to make them liable for said property taxes and things like that, things that didn't exist prior to, again, the invasion of these nations who, you know what I mean, invaded this land over here. But again, if you understand that they came over here to do business, that was the purpose of establishing a so-called 13 colonies, then you would understand as to why, they call it taxes. I say we got to come up with another term for it. You know what I'm saying? We can't call it tithes, because if you call it tithes, even though we're going to break it down since we got D. Calico on the line, although, they call it taxes, and in the Helios Biblios, they call it tithes, I call it tithis. You see what I'm saying? It's something that you would be paying to, you may have been issuing it by way of this rabbi or Reverend Pork Chop or Pastor Pimpin or Imam Slipping or whoever it was. But the point of paying the tithes was something that was going to, your most high creator. You know what I mean? So if I pay state taxes, I'm saying that the state of Michigan is my God. You understand? Or that's my master.
Yeah.
So again, these are they business practices haven't changed. That's my whole point with that statement. Go ahead, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just agreeing with what you were saying because, well, the matrix of it is we are slaves to the municipality. I keep saying that, but that's what that is. Now, some know how to navigate and some don't know how to navigate. For instance, recently someone had issues with their responsibility because somebody wants to have something that they can't afford. And so they put you into this psychological thing where you have value. Well, I don't know if it's real value. And then you lose the value once you drive it off the blocks, or I don't understand us. We're just so materialized into this world. We forget our basic, human being or sentient being rights, man, and responsibilities. So you get caught up in the trap. Taxes. You got to pay a tax on this. You got to pay. Come on, man. So now if we had our own, well, we do have our own, just haven't been in a cohesive, donate, give, just give.
So essentially what you're talking about is separate but equal.
Yeah, we got to separate. Yeah, in order for us to heal the nations, and yeah, just like the nation has on the back of their newspaper, just like some Europeans have in their books. They're said there's what's it? Forever. That's something to that nature. And some they will feel comfortable being separated without being annihilated. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe. So we have a building consortium, so I can eat my food on the side of the sidewalk and contribute to the business. I'm talking about us first. I ain't talking about nobody coming in from somewhere. I'm talking about I'm being real. And if we're gonna see us do something, let's do it. God damn, like I said, we can reduce the murders and killings or whatever if they just look at themselves and see what they're doing to themselves. If they don't even know how valuable their body is, if they just look closely. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, we need to have a trust. We need to incorporate some cities because everybody else getting this what do you call them? Government bonds and grants and no bid. Come on, man. So we can make our own little town, man. and be recognized. Now look, there was a PD cop, Detroit police sergeant. He was there, just watching the bailiff get his stuff out of the house and things of that nature. And he told me, he said, they don't recognize us, the Moors. Why did he say that? You know what I'm saying? What is it that we have to do to be recognized? How much paperwork do we have to keep writing down and passing along? Now, who controls that? Us or them? If you want to be real about it. If you want to be real about it. So how do you be if you just show what we can do, if we just show, I'm not trying to be, holier than thou, but goddamn, we got to do something. We got to change something, man. The same old crap keeps happening, man. And nobody wants to do the 180. We keep doing the 360, chasing that tail. Ain't shit changed. Do a 180, left or right. Goddamn, do something. Get it started. That's all I'm saying. But now, hold on. There are those who are really working hard, that are, doing stuff on the other side to make things happen. Now, I was told some years ago, we're coming to birth. You're coming to birth, black people. That's what was said. And we're coming to birth. Do you know there's a chief of police in Miami Beach now? Did you know that, sister? Well, you know what I'm saying. About that time, you know what I'm saying? So they're upgrading people now. They're giving us the chair to rule. And so if our people can just step it up a bit and calm down a little bit and hold their little energies, those atoms that keep popping off, we can do this. We can do this. If we can do it between 4 and 6 o'clock in the morning, we can do this, because most people are sleeping and ain't nothing going on. So, but a trust. We got to compete with the big boys. That's my big boys, cryptos and investors, all that kind of stuff. We have that, and I know there are some people out there that are doing it. They just don't want to be known right now. I know that. So it's happening. We just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? And so some of the years that some of these guys have been writing, these lawyers, Congress, that know there's a certain time to give it up. And that's all it is. But in the meantime, we got to do for self. Simple. Stay away from the materialism and the low desires. And that's it. Moderate yourself as much as possible. But at the same time, if we come in numbers, we can get some things done. I'm telling you, if we come in numbers. So we get the trust fund. We got to run for office. Some of us got to go on the other side. But that's where the treasury's at. You know what I'm saying? Got to go over there. Now, if we can't, with all the funds that we have now, we can't invest our own thing right now and have our own banks. That's what they keep saying. We can invest in banks or put our money in banks. Gold in banks, gold and silver, that is. Conversion.
All right. Well, let me say this before I forget. We mentioned Idlewild, and the name of another town is Calvin Township. Calvin Township here in Michigan. Let's see. Let me go back. Dang it. Come on, mouse.
And those
I'm gonna show some of it too. Let me
wow.
get rid of this and pull up to share again. Boom. Can't tell which one it is. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. All right, here it is, right here.
Okay.
All this land. It reminds me of when we went to Tennessee back in June, and all of that land that belonged to melanated people, you know, pre and post Civil War. And you know, again, the Ku Klux Klan was started in a town right next door to the town where my great great grandfather land and things like that. He built a school, you know. But in that area, there were quite a few thriving black towns or melanated towns in Tennessee. And as I'm researching Michigan now, I've come to find that there were 330 Wall Streets in Michigan alone, right? Pre-Civil War and post-Civil War. But again, now we're only aware of Idlewild the same way most people, when we get to talking about the towns that were terrorized and bombed and looted, you know, by these rednecks with the help of the United States government. You know, everybody brings up Tulsa, when we know there are more than 60 documented towns during that time that they were doing that too. What they call it, Red Summer, you know. So if the further we go back, the more that we see that, you know, these estates belong to us. Whether you call them estates or Bonnievilles or whatever you're gonna call it, plantation. It was something else before it was called a plantation.
Well, that's right, and it's evident because you see where people in California, where the family was given back their territory or land, and other places, and so now we have to do some due diligence and start researching and digging up stuff and putting motions in to get things happening. But they say it's already planned. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you see right here where it says how black pioneers built lives in Michigan before the state was founded. Right here,
right?
And this is from BBC Radio. So this is not like some souped up satire news by some brothers and sisters who just found out maybe 5 or 10 years ago that they are indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous Americans by way of blood, just spewing anything. You know what I'm saying? These are people who have done detailed background research, you know what I'm saying, by way of public records, and with the help of some of these ancestors' relatives' private records as well, you know, to verify that these lands, you know, were, it's just like Inkster. You know what I'm saying? That Inkster is right next door, and that was a melanated town, Inkster, Michigan. Do you know, my people, do your research.
Did they build that for the GM or Ford workers, or
that was Henry Ford?
Oh, okay. That's a beautiful.
But I posted an article. I posted an article. Yeah, I posted an article that predates that, when Henry Ford, you know what I'm saying, that was already land that was there. The same way this land was already here before somebody slapped the label on it known as Michigan. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is our ancestors was already there. We, again, I always mention this, we will abandon some stuff in a minute and go rebuild something else. Whether it's based on something that we sense astrologically, or whether it's, you know, we know those pale people are coming. So we, you know what I'm saying, are going somewhere else. It's still abandonment.
That's another thing I like to consider as far as the children that were given by white slave owners and stuff like that with their last without slave name. You know what I'm saying? Like if we have the name, I mean, I understand they don't care about all that stuff, but if you look, if we're your children, we're your children, America. That's all there is to it. We're your children. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but yeah, we're your children. Now, I don't want to be your child anymore. I don't want to be your child anymore.
Cut your wisdom.
You know what I'm saying?
His name is Enoch.
Who's that? Oh, yeah. And she had a biblical name, too.
It's Enoch and Deborah Harris, and this is in 1860. And they're up in age in 1860. So, again, imagine how long that they already had that land.
Wow, that's deep. Long ass time.
Like I say, see it right here prior to the state of Michigan even being established. And this is up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that, like you said, I saw that
wisdom. I want you to give us some of that wisdom concerning Miami and Liberty City and some of the things that you were telling us earlier about, for example, Little Haiti already having their stuff established. I don't know how established it is. I just want to also reference what I shared on Facebook the other day concerning, okay, we have brothers and sisters going into these courts, you know what I'm saying, unwillingly, but you know they don't want to have any warrants put out for them to be kidnapped and robbed and sexually assaulted and things like this and that. So with that being said, you know, once you come in and your documents precede your special appearance within their court, right? They label you as a sovereign citizen instantly. And when they're being combative and they're not honoring law, essentially what they're saying to you is you are not sovereign and you cannot be sovereign. When it comes to the original people, this is how they do us. But again, the Shoshone, the Lakota, the Apache, all of these other tribal nations have their own sovereign land in their own government. And they don't worry about a registration and plates and things of that nature. They don't worry about being taxed. And that was my whole point. Why do we look at sovereignty as a negative thing when it comes to our own people? But again, we see the Cherokee, we see the Creek, we see all of these other indigenous nations who do not predate us on this land. They carry recessive genes, so they cannot predate us anywhere on this land. You understand? And their sovereignty is being honored. But again, when we say that we are sovereign, indigenous, aboriginal, or autochthonous Americans, then it's an issue. Is no, you a Negro. No, you a mulatto. No, you a African American. No, you black. No, you a Negro. No, you a nigger. You all of this other shit when you predate everybody else on this land, right? So give us some of that information about Little Haiti and what they did to politically protect and solidify their area.
Quick answer.
The long one, if necessary.
Numbers. Education.
Yes.
Now they came over here not knowing the system, and it came around in the 1980s. Some were already here. We had a garment district from freaking 79th Street all the way to 36th Street, garment district. And they used to make most of the clothes that people were wearing back in the day, in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And them and Puerto Rican family were there with some of us and other people. And when the deal was made for the flotilla to come, we said the same thing, but we were given that, you know what I'm saying, a raw treatment kind of thing. And we even treated them bad. Because we were trying, it's like when you try to, and I'm not trying to compare them to an animal, but when you're trying to show them, because they got palaces and shit over there in Haiti, man. It ain't like it's all shanty town. Motherfuckers get the wrong idea about that shit. It's beautiful over there. Come on now. And but they will give you the people that's actually seeking freedom. The rich ones, they come and go. Like it don't matter. They got a passport. They can come and go. Those that really want to see that thing they call paradise or whatever, or freedom without being whipped or shot at, for something that you accidentally may have did or you mentally may have did with it, whatever. But they came and now look at their progress from 1980 to now. We're talking 40 some odd years, right? And 40, now they usually look at things as 40 to 50 years for people, or I'm gonna say immigrants, but people to establish their own governance and territory. And they did it. They live on the best part of the property in Miami Shores, North Miami, El Porto, Biscayne Garden, all those places. Little Haiti. Yeah. And they were given that because I think the Catholics own most of that property over there. You know what I'm saying? And so being that they're Catholic, most of them are Catholic, makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's beautiful. I love it. You know what I'm saying? And they're taking care of the property. It's beautiful. All the lawns. I mean, it's just, I'm so happy. But we couldn't go over there. We couldn't go. We got some over there now, but we couldn't go over there, bro. System, we couldn't go over there. But they broke the barrier, and now it's, you got to have a certain status. But theirs is not status. Theirs is cultural and business. They know what it is, but they look beyond that shit. Say, let's go get this. Let's go, and now they have their own government, local government that takes care of them. Their own people work there because they're a majority over there. And then when I go to the supermarket, they're there, just like my Puerto Rican and Cuban friends and Moorish friends, Christian friends, Hebrew friends, multicultural. So they have now if they did all that from 1980 to now, and they have amassed this wealth and value, man, come on, man. Who said we can't do it? Well, for one thing, they got some powerful.
It'll be a repeat.
Right.
The difference is for us, it'll be a repeat. It'll be something that, we've already done multiple times all over the earth, not just here, but you know what I'm saying? Again.
What other power do they have? I don't know if but they're not going to say that. You have Bodun, you have what's the other one? Start with the S. It's mixed. You got the you got what is this thing here? I got, hold on. Where is it?
Santeria.
Yeah. And you got some of them that do their stuff from Benin. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Stop playing. People got to stop playing. It ain't no worship. It's just talking to their ancestors. People got to stop worshiping and worship. But what the hell we here for then? What are we here for? We're not going to use it. We're not going to use something that's going to look. We done prayed to Jesus. So how long we done prayed to Jesus? They keep saying the world's coming to an end. It comes to an end is right now that you're living. Your judgment is right now as you're living. Your riches are right now as you're living. And because you see what we do, right? We party because look, I had 5 long days on the plantation, man. And I need a break. So let me hit that and drink that and hit that and drink that and shoot that and come on, man. And so that's what we do. But shit, you gotta have something to calm your nerves every now and then. But if you have the strength to be straight, I wish I could share my screen. If you could be straight with it and go by the laws and constitution of it, we could. They're ready. Like I say, they ready to give it to us. We just don't want it. So if we Stop giving it to them, we become powerful. It's just that simple. And we could do business amongst ourselves. It's not like you're not going to be doing business with them. It's just I'm going to be doing more business with my Moors and my melanated people, my ebony people. That's all that is. There's no hate about that, or no discrimination or racism or nothing like that. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Please stop it. It's competing. I don't want to say that word, but yeah, I like competing. I like to see numbers. We want to see good numbers. We want to see our what do you call that thing? Our census. We want to see our books. How we're doing business with other corporations, trade and commerce. Sorry, my bad. Trade and commerce. That's what I want to see. I want to see some industry. I want to see us in the textile markets, tech markets. Come on, man. We got some sharp, educated people in our cities, man. And all we got to do is stop having that fear and just go ahead and challenge. If not, we can make our own shit. Fuck it. They got used tools we can borrow. You don't need the most expensive things right away. You can always use it, get a used item and make it work. Shit. First thing we could do is to melt some glass or sand, melt sand, make glass, melt copper, melt fucking aluminum, whatever. Make your own damn coins. You don't have to buy no coins. You make your own coins. Who to say that they to tell you can't do what you want to do? How do they do that? So this is that thing they call rule. They want to rule you because you're anti-government. All you're trying to do is establish your rightful birthright. That's it. And so the people that's holding it down, they're doing their job holding it down. If they're holding the secrets, they're doing a good job holding it down. We just got to be patient. Some of us got to move on, and some of us just got to take it. You got to take it. You got to take the shit. Bobby Hemmett said, "Take the shit. Take it." You take it by you don't even have to use your hands. You don't even have to use your hands. Just this right here. Comes right out of your mouth. But you got to be good at it, though. And so when you use the right words, etymology, and things of that sort, they can hear you. They hear you because that's how they respond. When they call it the law of correspondence. That's what they call it. So they hear you when you send a motion to the court, and the clerk looks at it, she stamps it or whatever, and the judge, you make things move. You can move mountains. They call it the size of a mustard seed. So if your pen put a dot on a piece of paper the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Sign here, right here. And so that's where we're at, man. So if we straighten up a little bit, be serious about it, because a lot of people ain't serious about it. But we can't keep slagging and lagging behind. We got to keep it moving. So that's what I like. But I see the progress. We like to see more, right? I like to see speaking about Haiti, their lawns are very. I don't see a lot of trash in the neighborhood. At least when I'm riding around, I see a lot of coconut limbs, tree limbs, and things of that nature. Maybe some paper here and there, but not a lot. Now you just throw shit out of your damn car just to throw it out and fuck it, let somebody else. How do you have the comment that don't make sense? So your value goes down because you're throwing shit out of your car in somebody else's neighborhood, in your own neighborhood. And you don't get anything because you act like an animal. Period. That's what that is. Don't be mad at me. That's what the thing says. It says it in your Bible. Look at it. Read it. To civilize yourself. So you take something that somebody made that you bought that you say is yours, and then you just throw it out on somebody else's. You know what I did? I got out my truck. My stepdaughter threw some stuff out in the car, and it was a bottle, plastic bottle, and I got out, picked the damn plastic bottle up, and put it in the garbage can. And she started laughing like I did something crazy. Picked it up. That's my duty, responsibility to keep my garden clean of non-perishable or wait, how do you call it? That term when it decomposing material. So I put it in the garbage can. Like I did before. Somebody threw a damn pizza box, big ass pizza box, out the door. Garbage can right there. Picked it up, folded it up, put it in the garbage can. Got on what was it? What's that street over there in West Park? Green Lawn, Orange Lawn. Nice from the east side. It was in a nice little ride, and they threw the cup out the door. And we told them, "Hey, man, you wouldn't do that in your neighborhood." He picked that cup up, and they went on by their business. That's what we're talking about. No shots fired. That's Islam, man. That's cooperation. So we have that. No back talking. Oh, fuck you, nigga, and they ride off shooting their guns. No, it was none of that. It was peaceful. It was beautiful. God and man. You know what I'm saying? So we have that ability. You know what I'm saying? So once we stop throwing shit on our goddamn porches and shit, the value of the property can go up, man. We can do some things. People will come into your neighborhood and spend in your damn neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, we have the black police, the melanated brother for the chief of police in the city of South Beach or Miami Beach. That's a good thing. We're coming to birth, black people, or so-called black people, Negroes, colors, and blacks. Okay. And things are happening. We got a chief of police for North Miami, a sister of Haitian descent. Talk back to me. Yeah, we're coming to birth now. But what you got to do with that is make it work for you. So when my Cuban Latin family came over here in the 1980s, they make it work for them. They own Miami. Damn near all of Florida. Shit, for that matter. And they're very successful people. That's called conquering a nation. But they are a nation. Right? Unto themselves. And they're very powerful. And they did that in less than same time. In 1980s to now. Look at them. Now look at us. We make progress, but you got some people holding us down. All the way down. So now, tired of your foot being on my neck, nigga. Got to go, man. I got to go. I got to show and prove. Or else we gonna be done, extinct. So they have made a very profound change in the last 40 years or so, 40, 43 years, 45 years. And so they needed a change because we sat back and got foreclosed on. And we were drunk. And then we let it go by again. Shit, God damn. Let it go by again. And we got tied into this thing called theater. Using fake laws to entrap us. We were just being docile, peaceful people. And so, but yeah, I have the Haitians have restaurants, automobiles. They do every doctors, lawyers, you name it. Policemen, police women, everything. In less than 40 something years, or less than 50 years. Let's say it like that. And there's more. Is now they've encompassed. I would say almost from Overtown all the way up to freaking Hollywood right now.
This is true, but let us not forget, without the work put in by us, they would not even be able to enter this land. You see what I'm saying? My issue with some of my brothers and sisters from the various islands, the Caribbean, is some of them are so Christianized. You understand? So when they come here and they seize various opportunities, you know what I mean? And they see us, like, you guys have been here for centuries and haven't accomplished anything, but I come from the poorest country on the globe, and I was able to acquire A, B, C, and D. But again, they forget that if it wasn't for the blood that our ancestors shed, they wouldn't be able to, again, accomplish any of those things. Understand, they are not the ones who the parasites have latched onto and refuse to let go of. You know, they don't mind the taxes and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So again, these are people who came here to do business and did business. Meanwhile, when we get together and establish various towns or whatnot, and businesses and banks, and they come burn our shit down. You know what I'm saying? So
where's security?
Why doesn't that happen? Pardon?
Where's our security? Where's our security?
Okay. Well, currently it is what it is, but if we're gonna go back into 1919 and 1860 with the other towns that I just mentioned, you're talking about the federal government arming these terrorists to come in and take the towns over. So yeah, of course we were armed. You know, we were secured enough for the towns outside of us not to invade. But when you're talking about, again, the federal government utilizing planes, not just gats and bats, you know what I'm saying, in bombs and things of that nature, like it turns into something else.
They use central intelligence and used our own people to weaken our security. You create the front line, and I'll come behind you. That's 101 right there, COINTELPRO stuff. We pay people that look like you to infiltrate your people to break down the power. Then they'll use a gimmick called "You got a gun," or you stole a TV, or a ghetto blast. But now these brothers don't give a fuck about all that shit. They taking their shit. You understand what I'm saying? So security. So if we're gonna establish this government, we need real security. Now, for instance, not that didn't want to shed no blood because we're spiritual people, but when and I'm going back to that because I got to keep going back because I saw something that I see can be happening to those. You don't have to have a staff just to be on post, but you need something to knock somebody down sometimes because they act silly. And we're trying to keep something valuable, they try to come and F it up. So when Yahweh Ben Yahweh was here, peace be upon him, his enterprise or establishment or paradise business, as you would say. Everybody was on post. You can't penetrate it. People on top of the roof. I can't say where else they was at, but you see they had it security. We need that. We've always had resources at high schools here because we were terrible with children fighting and beating each other up after school or in school. So we always had resource officers here at our school. So we have an issue with what's going on elsewhere. That's valuable. You can put that on the scale and say, yes, they don't have that kind of stuff going on in their schools. They got a lot of people that bring guns. That they've been bringing guns to school forever. After the weekend, you come home or come back to school on Monday. What you got, brother? What you got, sister? I got this. You're bringing stuff to school that you took out your mom and dad's house. And then you get caught or somebody says, oh, that's what happens. So that's been going on for a long time. But as far as you actually hate, whatever hate it is, you just start killing for no reason. Or whatever the reason is, because I don't know what the reason is, but you kill them. And it has affected the Caucasian or European communities. Going on since Columbine? Maybe before that, I don't know. So we should get an award for that. So we already have that intact. So now we can move on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? Safe streets for the children when they're going to and from school. I see people speeding all the damn time. I want to give everybody a damn ticket and put them in jail. I'm kind of an old cat, man. I like the rules and shit, man. So you got to put down some kind of rule because some people are unruly. So I'm with that. Even if I got to stay in the line, I got to stay in the line too. I don't like authority, but somebody's going to be ruling you. Whether you got to go to the store and get some gas or you got to bow down. Period. Man, can they hurry up with my car? When is she going to give me some coochie? Or when is she going to give me some... When is the food going to get... Why? Because they running shit and you're not. You're paying for shit. So everybody's being ruled by something or controlled by something. Right? Am I right? Am I right? And so we have those two things in order. The church, politics.
Yeah, but ultimately that's for minors or what we call minorities. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned earlier, when there is a community of people who share the same culture, traditions, and things of that nature, and poverty is not a factor within that community, then you don't have crime.
True.
But when you put poverty into the picture, then you can expect to have some people with poor morale or zero morale. Okay. You can expect for there to be an abundance of narcotics in that area in order to numb the fact that these people are living just below the poverty line or at the poverty line or just above it. Nobody wants to live in poverty.
True that. And so I experienced that. It was no big deal, but I experienced it was a great what do you call that thing when you go into that paradigm or that era? It was just beautiful. Even the roaches and the rats and the mice and no grass on the front porch. I mean, an apartment building. No air conditioning. I went through that, and it's called survival of the fittest. That's what it is.
We have to consider that is a terrible way for a child to grow up.
And guess what? Now, when that child came out of the womb, what was he doing? He's striving for that sustenance. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to get it no matter what. And like you said, no matter what, whatever it takes, by any means necessary. So we can use the necessary as a necessary tool to necessitate the bad things based on poverty. If we mathematically and scientifically root it out of our minds, we can always develop and create something like hip hop to bail us out, make us feel good or feel better or feel, better than. So we have the magic, we have the ability to do it. So I'm not gonna, I accepted back then, but I can't accept it now. We gotta come off of that mindset. Just like the mindset of the other word, minority. You brought that up a little bit. And I think back when the other show we had subjugation and all that stuff. The minority, I want to make sure we're not any more minorities. Because that doesn't, there's so many labels. How the fuck? And these news people, they can't do any journalism for the hell of it. And they know they're wrong when they say it. The minorities, the fuck is that, man? You sound like an idiot. That's a political term.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. They need to stop it. See, now hold on. But you know what though? Hold on. So, but you know what we can do? We can sue them for slander. Is that slander or misidentification? How do you do that shit? That law? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. You misidentifying.
Separation of rights and the color law.
There you go.
Yeah, we didn't cross.
Come on.
We crossed our hour.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was saying we crossed the hour mark, so we're gonna start winding it down a bit.
Okay. But that was hot right there. That was hot. Oh man. I'm gonna sue your ass for calling me out of my damn name. What the hell's wrong with you? Minority. Where you get that shit from? You got the House minority and the Senate majority. Vice versa. Two assholes, fighting over blood. I can say that shit because I'm not a part of it. What you talking about? Play them games. Got my own party.
Were you able to pull up any of those PDFs that I sent you?
Yeah. The thing about the sovereign thing. Yeah. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. I know it's stuff you're already familiar with, but due to where I sent it from, I didn't know whether or not you would be able to access it.
Well, one of them says, what is a sovereign citizen? One is a catch-all phrase referring to the variety of anti-government individuals and groups who share some common beliefs and behaviors. This is that anti-government stuff they're trying to impose on these sovereign citizens. Whereas if you have any kind of uprising or you refuse to comply with statutes and codes, you're deemed an enemy of the state through vehicle tax. The organizers to which many sovereign citizens belonging to have a variety of names: Morris Nation, the Aware Group, Washington Nation, the North Carolina American Republic. So they want to mix all this shit together when we're not a part of that. People use it because they want to use it. Is it right? Maybe, maybe not. Does it work? Maybe, maybe not. So why are you all upset about it? Goddamn. If I don't stand on my square and I keep fucking bowing down to you. I'm gonna be a fucking slave for the rest of my life. So they run a bluff game, and you go for the bluff game, and you got to go pay because you got scared because you had a gun in a billy club and not a Burger King or a McDonald's sandwich. Took your lunch money. Coffee and donuts, please. But yeah, sorry to be so long-winded though.
You all right? We're gonna have to part 2 anyway, because it's quite a few facsimiles and things of that nature and templates that I didn't share with the people. So we'll try to come back, tomorrow a little bit earlier if possible, and show some of these documents, as well as talk about some of the older material that or books or whatnot that we used to somewhat covet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about cracking the code and redemption manuals and things of that nature earlier. And again, when you look into some of these books, a lot of what it contains concerning dealing with state and federal and city ordinances and things of that nature are, in my opinion, on point, but they aren't documents that some people who refer to themselves as sovereign citizens created. Again, sovereign citizens did not create an affidavit of fact or the usage of any affidavit. And you can name other various documents that you've seen, brothers and sisters, out inside of these indigenous movements have been utilizing for decades. Again, some of these same methods that are being used to uphold indigenous aboriginal nations and their governments are the same documents that we used as Yamasee and Washita and Gray Seal Moors. You understand? Even on our IDs, it says that we are indigenous. And there were no other melanated movements that were doing this prior to these brothers and sisters who I just mentioned. And not only that, the empress, peace be upon her, empress of the Washita, some of these sovereign citizen, skinhead, neo-Nazi type people were coming to her attempting to purchase Washita plates and Washita IDs and things of that nature. No different than they were paying the $5 to get on the dolls rolls. It's the same shit. But when it trickles down now to those who aren't aware of this information, they look at it as if we're biting or appropriating somebody else's culture. You know what I'm saying? When it's just the fucking opposite. Again, nobody predates us anywhere. So how can I be appropriating somebody else's identity? It don't work that way.
Well, I look at it as Satan's world. And if you're not a part of Satan's world, that's all you have to say when you go to court. But you got to prove that you're not a part of Satan's world. Or you're not of Satan's world.
Just channeling a different energy. When you say Satan, I think of the energy of Saturn. It's just being able to channel different energies and use them effectively in your favor.
Exactly. And so they say, now what we're saying is, stay out of the way of you being held slave from freedom of choice, your free will, freedom of choice, good or bad.
Transmitting utility.
You know what I'm saying? And so now that we're under, under or over under, wherever you want to put your bets on. You got to navigate it. You got to use it to the best of your ability, or you go off the grid. But we don't have to do all that. We got to have the sustainable resources of food and water. So we need to get that good land, dirt, mucky dirt, and it don't have to be huge. I mean, you could do a plot or a lot for onions, tomatoes, bell pepper, celery, the 3 basics, the 4 basics, and you can have a meal every day. We got rice in California. I mean, Carolinas over there. We still growing rice in Carolinas. Let's see if we can grow some rice somewhere. Shit. Here's what I saw.
It's just a reset, like I said before. You know,
Like
right now as it stands, there are many melanated farm owners.
Yeah.
You know, these are the brothers and sisters who were looked over when it came time for Obama to cut the check. Right? Now, you know, they easily could have settled and just sold out. But being that they inherited that land from their ancestors, they were trying to again keep it in the family so that they could pass it on to their heirs and descendants, right? But now, when you are helping, they are financially cutting checks to other farmers, right? Farmers who have not been in existence as long as these melanated farmers. But again, we'll, you know,
we'll build on that.
More, tomorrow. Yeah. So we can actually show the people, you know, while we're speaking about it.
Yeah. It's happening. Like I said, we don't see it, but it's happening slowly but surely. And it's, some of them it's going at a pace that we can't, it's like lightning. But you're gonna see them. You see them on places like Sunday morning, CBS Sunday morning, and certain documentary shows. They're showing it. Like I said, the head comes down, and now we're coming to birth, and you're seeing it happen. But with that same thing, what we're coming to birth, we're facing the judgment, and so we're living in the judgment right now. So be on your good P's and Q's. Don't overindulge. Stop hurting one another, and and a family. Oh, I forgot that family. We need that family thing, sister. When we come back, that family. You know what I'm saying? Mother, father, son, daughter, that kind of thing. All right, I'm good.
Cows, come on, somebody. God wouldn't have never been able to use me how He can use me now. And if it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree. I thank God for slavery. I thank God for the crack house. If it wasn't for the crack house, come on, somebody, God wouldn't have never been able to use me how He can use me now. And if it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree. I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree. If it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree. If it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree.